Claude Skills. Obviously, everyone has been talking about Claude Skills, and rightly so. And today, I want to talk to you about how, even though I've been using Claude Code for months to build apps like Publio here, as you can see here with Publio and other apps as well, I wasn't utilizing Claude Skills or Claude Code in its best way. But today, I want to go through all that, how a recent, I guess, stoppage where I was enforced due to sickness allowed me to actually understand and build Claude Codes in a complete operating system that I needed to build. And today I'm going to show you that system very briefly, the skills, what the skills are, and how you can build your own skill. And before we get into today's video though, I just want to say, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is James and I'm a former tech recruiter / AI builder now, and I was in tech recruitment for about 8 years. And the reason I kind of went into the AI space is I knew from working in tech in New Zealand how much it was to hire a developer to build your own MVP. So not only we're talking thousands of dollars, but also time. And now the fact that we've got AI has allowed people like myself the opportunity to build apps and software and systems with AI, and it just blows my mind. And look, simply with this YouTube channel, it's still quite early on in its infancy and quite new and whatnot, and this long form stuff. But I just want to be essentially, look, I'm just sharing my experiences, my learnings along the way. Look, there'll be things that are probably wrong and things that will be good and valuable. Again, I'm just sharing my learnings, and that's all it's about here, is so that hopefully you too can take a little bit of inspiration or something to go, if you've been on the fence about using AI or learning about AI, to take some of this so that you can go and implement into your everyday, whether that's building your own AI app, should I say, or systems or whatnot, or just workflow. So with that said, let's get into the video. Okay, so as I mentioned, I have been using Claude Code for months now, and well, yeah, ages to be fair, and to build all my apps. So essentially, this is, as I said, this is Publio here, and this is all built in Claude Code. But the one thing I had a problem with was I knew that I needed to build myself like this complete kind of like business operating system so that I could automate a lot of my work and get my time back. However, it's that kind of the rat race thing, isn't it? Like every time spending time doing that would have taken me away from actually trying to grow my business. So I just always kept putting it off. However, last week it was Melbourne F1 weekend here in Melbourne. So it was the F1 weekend, and I was going to it. And I also had to do a house sit on the weekend, and it gave me an opportunity to actually have, I thought the night before the race, I'm actually gonna have a bit of time just to skill up, because I've been so in the midst of trying to build stuff and market it, Publio and whatnot, and grow the content side of things and the leads and the emails and whatnot, that I actually hadn't had chance to sit and actually learn for a while. And I had been come across skills for a while, and I just haven't leveraged it or knew nothing about it. And I think that was part of the problem. I didn't know anything about it, so I just kind of, I didn't say avoided it, I just didn't know what it was, to be fair. So if you're not sure what a Claude skill is, I just want to break that down first of all before we get into it. So Claude skills essentially is a recipe that Claude uses before it invokes any skill. So I've actually got a diagram here of a little bit of, and again, this was all built in Claude skills. So this diagram, and I want to I'll go through this section in a second of this, because to be very transparent, so the first version of skills I didn't use. It's only in, and the guy, when I came to that learning, it was actually Nate Herc, and his stuff is awesome, to be fair, and I'll link his video channel down below. But his stuff was awesome. I was watching a video about skills. I was like, okay, actually, because I was like, now I've learned this, I'm gonna understood this. I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to implement a bit of an operating system to myself. And after the weekend of the F1, I came down ill, so it was a bit of an enforced break, to be fair. And I was just kind of on the sofa watching Drive to Survive for the most part of the week, and being pretty useless. And then so there was no content happening, no kind of business or anything, marketing, anything like that. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna play around with the skills and start building. And yeah, I kind of got hooked to building. So I was like, this is amazing. Like the whole fact I can build this whole operating system for myself. And I just want to show you a little bit of what that system looks like. So if I just go into my computer's been having, I really need a new computer. But as you can see here, this is kind of like my James brain too. And you can see the different things here. And if I actually go into Claude here and the different skills, now the ads ones, I'll be honest, they're from someone else that I got because I wanted to understand a little bit more. But all the rest of them have been just going back and forth, creating my own, and especially around my marketing side of things and bringing all my marketing. Because that was the other thing as well. Like I was using Claude to do all my marketing. So essentially what I did when it came to my emails and whatnot, my writing, is I was doing it all in the Claude desktop app. And essentially I kind of scraped all the emails I had and the content marketing, the resources I had from listening to Hormones, and kind of put it all into a file and built out a source file that he was using for Claude. And don't get me wrong, it was great, like it really was. But I came across a video, and I'll link it below, and I can't remember, it was on, I think it's a Greta Eisenberg's channel, and it's this guy who's talking about how he built like a 450k marketing engine, and it was all done in Claude code, and it was the same with, oh actually no, he may have done it in Claude, and not Claude code should I say, but he was talking about Claude code, and then I came across Nate's stuff, and I was like, I use Claude code all the time, and I know this looks kind of scary from the off, but to be fair, it really is. Once you get used to it, and I know I'm doing it in the UI here, but a lot of the Claude sessions when I come to build my apps is actually done in the terminal. But once you get used to it, it's pretty straightforward. I was like, okay, if I'm not using Claude Code to its full here, like I really need to, I'm on the max plan, I really need to leverage this. And so I decided to, right, I'm going to bring everything back in-house, and let's build out this whole operating system and engine. And it just started off with, let's bring in my writing skills so I can bring it all in house. And so I did that, and I was like, this is amazing. So going back just very quickly, and apologies, I will digress a little bit, but going back just to this here, as you can see, so look, first of all, what is a skill? So a skill is a skill MD file with a step-by-step, as I said, instructions recipe that Claude follows automatically when triggered. So what you need to really ask yourself, because a skill will not be needed for everything, okay? But if you find yourself often repeating workflows or doing the same steps, it really should be a skill, okay? And so for example, when I came to emails, like I'm always, although I write my emails, I kind of put them and edit them against the file and the source that I guess documentation I built through Claude, now in Claude Code. And I was like, okay, well, I repeat this all the time. It's also the same with like YouTube, and you would have just seen actually on my VS Code the YouTube skill open. I'll show that in a second. But essentially, it's anything that could be repeated. Okay, likelihood that should really be a skill. Now, it comes to how do you define it? Because if I go back to this VS Code session for a second, and you'll see here, if I actually go back to my Explorer, my apologies. And if I actually go back to the YouTube search and you look at this, okay, you can see this is the MD file, right? It's pretty big. It's got a lot in there, right? Okay. Now, that again seems like when I came across videos of people that's got, I'm like, God, that seems absolutely massive. How am I ever going to produce something that's the same? But it's actually pretty easy to do. But there is a little trick that you need to use, and there's a tool called Whisperflow that I highly recommend using. And as you can see down here, it's here. And if I just press FN here, it'll come up, okay? And when I'm in a text box, it'll add it. Now, just going back and forward with the skill in the Claude Code session allow me to actually develop the skill. Now, had I done this just via writing, it would have taken me ages. But because I was, when you talk about how AI really is about the prompts and the context you give it, should I say, and it's so true. Like, I'm using this to Whisperflow, and I'll link it down below. Gives you so much more. You can say so much more than just typing on the keyboard, and it'll give so much more context to it. So that's how we got this. And this is going back from now. If I go back to this as well, it's not just straightforward. Now, the old version of skills, my understanding, again, I didn't use the old one. It was kind of when the skill creator came in, was the skills were good. Sorry, I'm still kind of a little bit of sickness here, but the skills were good, but they didn't really learn over time or whatnot. Okay, so but if we go here, so you got to define a skill, kind of what triggers it, what does it do, what's the output, and that's going back and forth with that, speaking with Claude. And once finally got that out kind of defined, then you write the skill ID, the skill MD, should I say, the Claude will, and it triggers the conditions, what the step-by-step instructions, and the output format examples. And then the casing is, and reason, sorry, before I digress on there, the reason we do that is because every time you want to use a skill, and you'll see the trigger, and I'll show you one shortly, is it will basically load up the skill, look at the MD file here, and say, okay, well, this is the rules essentially that I've got to follow. This is a recipe, the kind of from the cookbook I've got to follow. Okay, now you get this test and iterate. So now we want to test. Now, very clearly, the first skill you build, so the skill you build on day one, will probably look a lot different in a month's time. Okay, as you build out, as you come over time, you'll learn things. Okay, that wasn't quite right. Or I need to iterate on that. Or I need to develop that, and it will develop over time. So don't feel like, right, okay, everything's got to be done in day one. No, you'll probably start with a skill, and then over time you'll go, okay, I learned that. That could be better there. So now let's let's go with the Claude, update Claude with that. And this is where the skill creator comes in, which is amazing, because it not only evaluates things and kind of looks at it, and what I mean by that is the way it looks at it. So if I look at this example here, not this one, when I first created this for this video, you can see it's a little bit off. Okay, so you can see here the box here was over, and the text was hanging out here, and for the rest part, okay, it was okay, but this bit was not great. And so using the skill creator, I went back and said, hey, look at this. This is the output it's giving this to us. It's not great. You can see here, look, I did not edit any of this in Excel diagram. I did not change any of this. But I said, how can we get better at this? Because I need to make sure this, the outputs are better than this. So it went back through, looked at, and we did a few, I think about 5 to minutes, different tests. And eventually we got to this file. And this was all from Claude and AI, and going using the skill creator to go back and forth and run some real tests, check the output quality, and then refine it until it was consistent. And then once it was consistent, right now we can update the skill again, the step-by-step instructions to make sure that that's now the output going forward. And eventually, again, if you use it in a month's time, for example, or whatnot, and it's got an error, cool. Is this something we should really run the skill creator for and to improve it? And then once you define it over time, you can say that to Claude Skills, so it can either sit completely in your project, or you can run it, this little icon down here, sorry, this little symbol down here, to run it global. So anytime you open the IDE on Claude code, it can can use it from that skill. So which is great. So now we know what the actual kind of workflow and skill is. I actually want to go into a bit of a live session with you now with one. And again, they're pretty straightforward to do as well. So if I go up here, you can see I've got a YouTube one I use. So I needed to, in my area to create YouTube videos, I want to get YouTube research. I want to understand what's going on in my area, market and stuff, so I can actually look at different ideas and see who's doing well, what's kind of, same with what you kind of do with social media. That's how I grew my social media. It's looking at what's doing well and, put my own experiences in, but looking for that inspiration. Okay, now I'll be honest, I'll be totally transparent with you now. I actually recorded this video before and realized that the screen recording tool did not work. So it kind of bugged out. So what we were doing was doing a live test to see how long it would take from start to finish. So I'm not going to do that again as a re-record, but you can see here, if you can see on that there, I think it's 13 minutes, 42 seconds. So from the moment I said, okay, I need to run a YouTube report for the past week. I just want to understand what's been going on in the past week in my area. Now it invoked that YouTube research skill, obviously went through all the configuration, the skill MD, all the plans and stuff. And then we planned it all out, just to understand what was going to happen. And because you can see here, I've got bypass permissions on the UI version, because I think on the terminal you have to do it each time. So to be fair, for this, I just use the UI. It's a little bit easier. But for most of my Claude code sessions, I use the terminal, and it just allows me. When it asks you to give you 1 or 2, and you have to accept or auto accept, this essentially just goes bypass that. Now, as at the start here, as you can see, as I wanted to plan, and actually when I'm creating the skill, and I'll go into that, when I'm creating the skill, I will actually use plan mode first, just to fully plan it out rather than just let it just completely do its own thing. But you can see we've got the plan, and it went back and forth, did what it needed to do, and within, let's say, what was it now, 13 minutes 42 seconds, if you can see that, it came back. And look, I don't need to be sitting here doing this, so I can go and do something else, or I can go and grab myself a coffee. But 13 minutes later, and I'm telling you now, this would take me hours to do. So if I show you this now, this would take me hours. If I quickly go on this, you can see now, so when it comes to me needing a report of what's going on, you can see it's done a full YouTube research of what's being managed. So look, it got this little area here with input on the thumbnail, but it's got all the thumbnails. And if I actually go into now, if I want to recreate a thumbnail, I've now got a high def of that kind of thumbnail, and it's giving me the titles, the links to it. I can see what's the total kind of views, average kind of views per day, the engagement on it. Okay, these are the tournament videos in the last 30 days. Who's the top channel this week from the past week as well, 7 days. And then it gives me all the videos of people that I've given it over the last 30 days that I can see on total views when it was published. So now I can start to use these as ideas and thumbnail ideas to create my own videos. In fact, that's exactly how this video came out, to be fair. And then, as you can see here, the channel performance summary of some of those. So like, for example, Nick, he's only done 8 videos after, the last 30 days or whatnot, or I can't remember if it was last week or the last 30 days, but probably last 30 days, should I say. And he's had probably the best average view. So from that point of view, what is Nick doing? So I can start studying. You can see mine here. There's been a little bit less, way less at the moment. And I also, what's the video length sweet spot? So actually the videos that I've done between 10 to 20 minutes seems to be doing quite well. Now, again, it's just, and what the best day to publish is, seems to be a Thursday is the best day to publish. So maybe actually recording this video, I'm recording it on Wednesday, let's push this out on the Thursday. And then just some different ideas and whatnot. and title at work. So, and who I should watch for. So that is the beauty of that. Would have taken me hours to do. Now, if you actually want to build one, it's pretty straightforward to do. So I'm just going to open this like this. So let's say something that's repeatable. Let's think what else I need to do from a research. Let's see. Let me think. There is loads more. My brain's just gone blank for a second. Okay, let's do a revenue one here for 7. Okay, I need and let's put this into plan mode. Okay, look, I need to really understand my business fundamentals, all my revenue stuff, and really be analytic to the T. And you can see here, by the way, let me stop there for a second because it's going to come in. But you can see here that I'm using the whisper flow here because I need to understand my business down to a cent. I need to understand where I'm losing money, where my expenses, my income, where everything I can do. And I believe we need to turn this into a skill because this will be a pretty thing that I probably will do daily, if not weekly. And let's turn this into a skill and probably need to invite the skill creator as well so we can test and learn. But I also want to understand, is there anything, I want you to use a question tool, ask me any questions as well, basically interview me, any gaps that I have so that I can see. And now you see just from using Whisperflow, now that's such a better prompt rather than me typing. Now it's going to go away and build this for a second. So let it do its thing for a second whilst it's taking its time to do that. So exploring system skills, and you can see. So, and look, this is pretty straightforward. Now to do, as I said, that's all I've done is literally done that, and it's kind of reading different files and looking at the skill creator file. So you can get this from the Anthropic's website as well. And if you just go onto their GitHub, should I say, you go onto Anthropic's GitHub, you can still see the skill creator MD. And actually, just whilst I'm here as well, you can see this whole kind of business operating system that I have built out here as well. Like it's got all different functions, even a transcribe function now, writing emails, ads. So this one had like all different ads come in, as you can see, through all the content I got from scraping Hormozzi's and Sabry's ads and just understand what are they doing well and stuff. And so that when I come to writing ads, it's pretty straightforward, and all different things here in brand assets as well. So when for example, when I create this school banner, so actually this is a great example of skill evaluation. So I was trying to recreate, what was it? I think this, okay. So this is the end version of a version I had. So I was trying to recreate this, and I connected this with an API called Key. And it's at the start, it was struggling because the system it was doing, it was trying to feed the information by this. Eventually we got there, we going back and forth, we got there, and now got there. So now I've saved this as a skill. So when I want to create images and generate images, and if we go into the skill here, it should be here. Where are you? Generate image. Ooh, I don't know where that is actually. I should have a generate image skill. So actually I will look into that because I don't know. I think it might be this key here. I definitely have a generate image skill, but I don't actually know where it is at the moment. So I'll have to go back through and find that. But as you can see here now, so it's starting to ask me questions. And if I go like that and just go, where did your money, which amount do you see payment track? To say that, why is that not letting me submit my answer? Oh, that's probably because of that. What are your currently expenses at the moment? What are my current expenses at the moment? I think they're probably under $500, mostly USD. And quick check-in. So now it's going to start. So now it's going to start to build. So you can start to see it's now building out this skill docs, as you can see. Now, also, look, I'm not going to go through the full thing here with it now, but as you can see, you can start building out your skills, and eventually, when you get it in, and then just always question it as well. That's the best thing I found is let's go use a Stripe API pool. Look, I'm just going to quickly make this up now, just for the sake of doing this. For example, what's the revenue tracker? I'm just going to do this very quickly. I'm probably going to actually do this again, actually, all of the above. Okay. And it's going to go back through. So once you've actually done, once it's finished getting there, and even when you think it's done, go, hey, is there anything else I've missed? Any gaps we've missed? And then you'll go through the skill and evaluate it. Okay. And then go, okay, well, what have we missed? What gaps have we? And you go, right, let's create this a skill. And it'll automatically just give it a title. So this will probably be called, I don't know if it's already done it yet, but it'll probably be called something like revenue, something called money. It's not the revenue one because that's a different one, but it'll be called something, right? And so look, that is the beauty of skills. And that is the beauty of skills. And as you can see now, like having a full operating system that allows me to create diagrams very quickly, to find YouTube reports. I've got a newsletter one as well now that I've managed to create a newsletter digest out of this, okay, that gets all the information. I can create a newsletter, create ads, create Instagram images, create stories as well, and write email sequences and whatnot. All this, like, for me to do manually as a solo operator would take in hours, but now I can do it and setting it. Now, yes, don't get me wrong, there's a bit of time set up front, but once you get it set up, it's amazing. And honestly, I wish I built this sooner. And you can very quickly, as you can see here, it's called the finance pulse skill, okay? And you can see here the plan. My apologies, you can see here the plan. So with that being said, I want to leave that here before it drags on too long. But look, go away and play with this, and don't be scared of the terminal. I'm just using VS Code for this, and don't be scared of the terminal. You can get the extension from Claude Code. If you go into VS Code here, you can get the extensions in here. Just type in Claude Code. You will need a pay plan, so I'm on the max plan. I don't think it works on the free plan, but you can get the $20 a month plan. I'm on the max plan just purely because of the kind of work I do, and then you can get it here, and you can also get it into the terminal as well. But look, go away, play with the skills. But if you are looking to, or struggling with the skills, or looking to implement the basics whole operating system, or want help with operating system or other skills, all these skills that I put are going to be in my paid school community, which I'll put a link to below. There's also another free community as well if you just want different tools I talk about on my Instagrams. And yeah, and also if you haven't followed this YouTube video, also if you got value out of this, you can see very early on, then please do subscribe, because it helps massively with myself to grow this and get out to more people like yourself to help you utilize AI and just change your trajectory. So with that being said, I have a great week and see you next time.